Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to this session. My name is Albert Esplugas, and I'm the head of AI Solutions Marketing at AWS. If you're wondering where that accent comes from, I'm originally from Barcelona, so I speak Catalan and Spanish. I did all my schooling in a French school, so I also speak French, and then finally English, so my accent is a mix of 4 different languages, so not easy to guess. Okay, so thank you very much for coming. It's a real pleasure to be here today. The goal of this session is to give you an overview of the most common AI use case we're seeing among our customers and how you can make them real in your organizations, hopefully to inspire you to adapt some of those use cases in your company and you understand exactly what are the different pieces that are needed to implement. I have a pretty packed agenda, many different demos I want to talk about, many case studies, and maybe we'll have a little bit of time at the end of Q&A, and if not, I'll meet you outside and answer any questions you may have. Okay, so let's get started. So ML is an integral part of Amazon. We've been using ML for more than 20 years in things like personal recommendations in the Amazon.com store or supply chain optimization. We also use AI, specifically for forecasting, to forecast the demand of specific products to make sure that we deliver on customer expectations in availability, price, and delivery speed. We use AI and ML, and more specifically deep learning, in our Alexa devices, well, Echo devices and Alexa virtual assistant, to be able to understand what the user is saying, what is the intent, and be able to reply back. We also use machine learning in reinforcement learning, more specifically in autonomous systems like the drones in our air delivery system and the robots in the fulfillment centers. And these are just a few examples. There's probably not too many departments at Amazon that haven't been touched by ML in those 20 years. And all those 20 years of experience are infused in the products and service that we offer to our customers, so they can also run their own AWS AI ML workloads on AWS. And we have more than 100,000 customers across different industries, across different geos, and across different segments. All those customers, when they implement AI, they usually try to solve 4 big business problems or business opportunities. The first one is to enhance the customer experience, create a completely different experience for your users with things like contact center intelligence, chatbots, virtual assistants, visual identity recognition, personalization are some examples of the use case in that first category. The second one is about augmenting human ingenuity. It's about taking faster and better decisions by using AI. Things like intelligent search, I'm going to explain later what it is, or things like forecasting are good examples of augmentation, or how you use AI to help people take faster and better decisions. The third category is about improving business process. This is more about automation. Good examples are intelligent document processing, content moderation, or predictive maintenance in the industrial space are good examples of that category. And the last one is when we use AI to create new products and services, things that didn't exist in the past. So we're not improving something that already exists, we're just creating something completely new. Alexa would be a good example of something that was completely impossible without AI. There's hundreds of AI use cases. Gartner published a document 2 years ago in which they went through 400 AI use cases across different industries and different business functions. Those are just an example. And selecting the right use case when you're going to start in your organization is key to success. So in order to help you, we launched this year the AI Use Case Explorer. This is a very easy to use search tool, web tool, in which you can go here to that URL, enter what is the industry you belong to, what is the business function that you want to enable with AI, what are the main business outcomes that you're looking at, you want to get from that AI implementation, and then you can explore the recommended, the top use case depending on that selection. And then for each of those use cases, you'll be able to discover case studies, more than 400 case studies of customers across different geos, how they have used that technology and implemented in their organization, and what are the best practices they can share with you, and also guidance for your development team about how to start with that project, how to work with partners, how to work with Amazon, how to build your own models, how to use pre-trained models. So aiexplorer.aws.amazon.com, I'll show you a QR code at the end of the presentation. Very easy to use tool. In fact, I have a quick demo in which you'll see a little bit how it works. So basically you'll select, it's pretty straightforward, but select the industry. What is the industry you're interested? what is the business function, marketing, operations, manufacturing, sales, and what are the business outcomes. Do you want to grow business? Do you want to reduce costs? Do you want to improve quality? It also has a search text in which you can enter using natural language query what you're interested in, customer experience as an example. The tool will present what are the use cases that are more relevant based on that filter, on that selection, like personalization or AI-enabled contact center. And for each of the use case, you'll be able to click and learn more and know what is the product that Amazon has to help you in a personalization project and what are case studies. And those case studies will be presented across different industries. You can always go up, select the filter, and select the industry you are interested in, like retail, and then you'll find some case studies, click the one you're interested in, and you'll be sent straight to the use case page. Very easy to use, more than 100 use case and sub-use case and constantly growing, more than 400 customer reference coming from Amazon, coming from our partners, and it's constantly evolving and adding new AI use cases. Today we will go deeper on those 7 use cases: contact center intelligence and conversational AI. I'm going to explain them together because they are very related. Intelligent document processing, intelligent search, personalization, identity verification, and content moderation. The reason I'm selecting those ones is because they are very horizontal. They can be applied to any single industry, and also because they are probably the ones that we find the most among our customers. So let's start with contact center intelligence and conversational AI. First, why it's important customer experience. I think that we all know, but some stats here, 75% of the customers say that their experience impacts their buying decision. 40% of them say that they stopped working with a provider because of a negative customer experience. And at the same time, 65%, 64% said that they were comfortable having a chatbot relation with that customer to answer basic questions. The contact center intelligence use case are those 3 ones. The first one is when instead of having a human answering the phone in your call center, you will have a self-service bot or a virtual assistant helping your customer and taking care of those basic questions that sometimes represent 30 or 40% to the calls to your contact center. By reducing the amount of calls, you will definitely reduce the cost of the contact center and need less people attending those calls and at the same time be able to provide a better service. The second one is real-time call analytics. That's during the conversation between the agent and the customer. The system is listening to that conversation and identifying the topics, the questions the customer is asking, the sentiment that is happening, and then it's going to be able to help the agent and suggest what is the best answer to that specific question, or if needed, will send that call to the supervisor if there is a problem, a sentiment, a very negative sentiment that needs someone to be involved. And then finally, the last one is post-call analytics. That's all the conversations that you have in your contact center. That's a fantastic voice of the customer asset that you can use also the same solution to analyze all those conversations and understand what were the trends, what were the sentiments, what were the topics. And based on that information, you'll be able to help your agents to be more ready for the next call and also be able to maybe update your website to provide better information so that you don't have people calling for those basic questions. I have demos for the 3 of them. So let's start with the first one. These ones have audio, so I'm just gonna stay here and show you the demo. But before that, 3 more use cases. Those ones are more conversational AI. Sometimes there's a contact center, sometimes there is not. If there is no contact center, then it's basically more a self-service bot or a voice assistant that you're creating, not necessarily connected to the contact center. Sometimes it's the website, and based on the activity on the website, the system will suggest some kind of help to the user that is navigating your website. And then finally, more transactional bots, like my credit card has expired, I need to renew it, I need to block it, or maybe I need to get an appointment at the doctor. Those are the kind of more chatbot-oriented, not necessarily connected to the contact center. But we're presenting them together because there's a very strong overlap between the 2 of them. When you build a solution with any of the use cases that I will talk and explain today, we use building blocks, and those building blocks are what we call the AI service. Those are pre-trained models. You don't need to be a data scientist. You don't need to build your own model and using data. You will use those pre-trained models. Those are, we call them AI service. And for the contact center intelligence and conversational AI, those are the main AI service. The first one is Amazon Lex. It's the one that we use to establish a chatbot conversation with the customer. Then we have Poly. This is the text-to-speech, be able to convert text-to-speech in multiple language. The speech-to-text, that's transcribe, using all those post-call analytics and real-time call analytics. Then we have comprehend. Comprehend is the one that is the natural language understanding. It will understand what is the intent, what is the sentiment, what is that the customer is really saying, not just translating to text, but understanding that actual conversation. Then we have intelligent search. We'll talk about this later and how it can be applied to help the agent. And then finally, machine translation, because sometimes you need to offer a multi-language chatbot heavily. Let's have a quick demo on
Conversational AI interfaces enables organizations to engage users via interactive chatbots and virtual assistants. With AWS Contact Center Intelligence, you can use these interfaces to build automated, self-service solutions that reduce agent workloads, lower operational costs, and decrease call resolution time. For example, AWS allows customers to call or use a chatbot and get answers to frequently asked questions without ever speaking to an agent. The same chatbot can also power the contact center's interactive voice response, or IVR.
Thank you for calling DMV. How can we help you?
Do you accept credit cards?
We accept Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. Is there anything else we can help you with?
Contact Center Intelligence lets your customers also accomplish tasks by themselves. Virtual agents are able to capture and verify information to complete a task, all without a live agent.
I need to renew my driver's license.
Do you want me to use the credit card on file?
Yes.
Can you verify the last 4 digits of the card number?
1234.
Okay. Your driver's license has been renewed and will be mailed to you in 1 to 2 weeks.
For complex scenarios, where the caller has to speak to a live agent, AWS Contact Center Intelligence can still help by verifying information and using smart routing to get the customer to the correct agent.
I lost my car registration and I think it's due soon.
What is the last 4 digits of the vehicle's VIN number?
3456.
Thanks. I have verified that you are the owner and will transfer you to an agent. Your wait time is less than 2 minutes.
to help the customer and also guide through the different tasks. Some examples, Ryanair is a leading European airline company. They wanted to offer 24/7 support to their customers, so they use Amazon Lex, which is the one that we use for chatbots, to implement a chatbot in 5 different languages and able to manage more than 3 million conversations a year, reducing the amount of calls to the real contact center. Or GovChat. GovChat is a leading South Africa civic engagement platform that creates relation with 9.5 million citizens. And when the pandemic, they needed to offer a platform so that citizens could apply for some grants. And they implemented that using chatbot, and they were capable of managing 13.5 million grant applications through 14.2 million messages every single day through different social platforms. It's a fantastic case study of a chatbot applied in the public sector.
AWS Contact Center Intelligence and Post-Call Analytics allows you to process call recordings from your existing contact center and provide actionable insights such as spot emerging trends, identify agent coaching opportunities, and assess the general sentiment of calls. Start by uploading call recordings to Amazon S3, and Post-Call Analytics automatically processes them using Amazon Transcribe Call Analytics to extract valuable intelligence information within the call. The output may be optionally redacted for personal identifiable information. The output contains sentiment by quarter for the caller and agent, speaking in silent time by speaker, speaker loudness, sentiment, and interruptions by speaker, call summarization broken down by issues or the reason of the call, action items, and any outcomes of the call, any entities detected by Amazon Comprehend, as well as custom entities spoken during the call, such as product names, organizations, dates, quantities, people, and more. And finally, turn-by-turn transcripts with word-level timestamps. The individual call analytics get saved in an S3 data lake that can be used to build aggregated queries using Amazon Athena, and advanced call center dashboards using any business intelligence tool of your choice, such as Amazon QuickSight.
This is the second demo, and now let's see the one for live call
AWS
analytics.
Contact Center Intelligence and Live Call Analytics allows your agents to efficiently handle contact center calls, starting with validating caller information, providing real-time agent assist suggested responses, sentiment and issue detection, supervisor notifications, and automating tasks on behalf of the agent.
Hello, thanks for calling the DMV. I see you are calling about a lost car registration, for the VIN number that ends in 3456.
Yes, I'm so angry that I lost my registration paper. I need to sell my car ASAP.
Live Call Analytics has identified that the caller's sentiment is negative and that they are calling about their lost vehicle registration. It will now suggest the next steps to the agent by providing the agent with a prompt.
I'm sorry to hear that you're frustrated. Don't worry, we can get this resolved. Can you please verify the mailing address where we'll send the new registration?
555 Main Street.
Live Call Analytics detects that the caller has provided their mailing address as the next step, verified it as their valid address, and has sent the request to the backend API to mail the new registration.
Okay, your new registration is being sent and you will receive it in 1 to 2 weeks. Is there anything else I can help with?
No, thank you so much. I am so relieved. Have a nice day.
This is the user interface for Live Call Analytics. The agents can see real-time transcripts, sentiment for each spoken segment, and agent assist messages.
Post-call analytics and real-time call analytics using transcribe to understand the conversation, extract insights, and be able to help the agent and the customer. A couple of examples. State Auto is an insurance company that offers insurance service in 33 states in the US, and they were using the contact center to extract information using transcribe. And based on that information, they were capable of training their agents and also updating the information on their web application to reduce the number of calls that they were receiving. Another example will be Wix. Wix is a web development and hosting company in Israel. They were analyzing sentiment regarding their different product features using a text that the users were entering in their website, but they wanted to go beyond text, and they had a transcribe to be able to listen to every single conversation, extract insights, and they were using that information from a product engineering team to tell them what were the features that would have more negative sentiment, more positive, and what were the trends over time. Let's move to a completely different use case. This is intelligent document processing. This is about documents. We all rely on documents, but some industries are heavy users of documents, like financial industry. When you apply to a mortgage, you need to submit, I know how many documents, and tax, and W-2, and so on. The healthcare industry, all the health claims, as well as medical information, has also to be processed to go downstream in your system, and also manufacturing and retail. Those are just examples. Every industry is using documents, but those are good examples. Being able to extract information from those documents is something that requires people taking one by one those claims, extracting the insights that need to move downstream. So everything that we can do to automate that process has a huge impact in costs. So IDP goes beyond OCR. OCR does recognition of the text and converts that text to digital information. This one is using AI to be able to extract what is a table, what is the checkbox. A structure of documents are very complex, that change over the time, and that needs to improve over time, and that AI is capable of understanding and moving to basic to 80 to 90% automation of those documents in the different industries that I was talking about. The second thing that IDP is also capable of is redacting sensitive information, finding where there is a social security number, a date of birth, a name, and then redacting that information. Also understanding what kind of document it is. If I need to submit 10 documents, the driver license and W-2, the system needs to be capable to understanding what kind of document every document is to make sure that we have the full set of documents that need to be analyzed. And then sometimes you need to be able to recognize very specific language, like transcribe medical and comprehend medical language that is very, very specific that you need to be able to upload your own vocabulary. Let's have a quick look at the demo. This one, there's no audio, so it's going to be explaining the demo, but it's basically a demo of the insurance scenario. So we are someone working in an insurance company. We have different submissions, insurance claims. This is one of them. You have 6 different documents in the system, and we'll go step by step and see how AI is capable of helping the person that is doing that process or completely automating it. For the sake of the demo, we're doing this manually, but probably this one could be completely automated. To the next one, we see that the system is capable of understanding what is each of the documents that is being submitted. There's one which is a driver license, an insurance card that needs some kind of validation. In that case, the user will validate this and we'll move to the next one, and the system will learn, and next time that we have the same kind of image, it's going to be able to extract that information. This is a 1,500 claim form. It's super complex. Table, checkbox, handwritten information. You need to extract all the pairing between the label and the data, and that's what IDP, Intelligent Document Processing, is doing by looking, and you'll see a little bit different kind of fields that is being extracted from the different tables. Then we'll move to the next one. The next one is the insurance card. You see that the format, finding what is the insurance number, what is the group policy, what is the date of birth, and that kind of information is spread all around the car. So the system is capable of extracting each of those labels and data, connecting them, and then extracting that information so it can be processed downstream. And then finally, well, this is the invoice, a very particular document with different lines. The system is going to be able to understand that this is a table, that the table has different rows, that each row has different information that will be extracted. And then finally, the discharge document, which has very technical medical language in it that needs to be extracted and codified, because we need to know exactly what was the medical condition and what was the output in that insurance claim. All those documents have been analyzed, have been validated, and then we move to the next one. The goal is to be able to 80-90% of those claims be processed completely automatically, and just 10% of them require some kind of human validation. But as we validate, the system will learn, and the next time it encounters the same problem, it will be able to do it automatically. A couple of examples. Elevance Health is one of the leading health insurance providers. They spend millions of dollars extracting information from those claims. It takes like 20 minutes for a human to go claim by claim and look at the form and all the associated documents. So being able to move to a 90% of automation of that process has a huge impact on cost reduction. Black Knight, this is an IT solutions company in the mortgage industry. They work with AWS ML Solutions Lab, and they used Textract. The service that powers IDP is called Textract and Comprehend. Textract extracts the information, and Comprehend understands that information, and they use that to create a solution specific for the mortgage industry. Switching gears, personalization. Why personalization is important? 60% of the customers say that they will repeat if they have a positive personalized experience on the website, on the e-commerce platform, or over email. Organizations that implement personalization see a 10 to 15% lift in revenue. And then we all know that it's harder to get a new customer than just to keep the existing ones by providing a good customer experience. You can do personalization in many different ways, but the advantage of using ML for personalization is that first, it's more accurate. Second, it's even better for constantly changing catalogs. That's one of the problems for personalization. When you have a standard catalog, it's kind of easy to end up with a good personalization, but when the catalog is constantly changing, then AI is way better than the traditional systems for personalization. Personalized is an API, something that you will add to your own systems. So it means that you can add personalization to every single touch point, your SMS, your email system, your website, your e-commerce, your phone application. Then it's very easy to integrate, and it reduces time to market because this is a pre-trained model. You don't need to train the personalization. It's already been trained, and you even have specific recommenders for some industries, as we'll see later. And heavily, all the information is encrypted, belongs to the customer, is not shared with anyone else. Beyond those horizontal scenarios, because it can be applied everywhere, there are two industries like retail and media and entertainment that are big consumers of personalization. And what we did is we launched last year, I think, those recommenders which are specific use case that we need for retail, like products recommended for you, or customers who view this also view that. Or in the media entertainment, what are the topics for you, or promotions, or because you watch X, you're probably interested in Y. You don't need to implement that. It's already being implemented. It's a single API, and you'll be able to implement that in your organization if you're in retail and media entertainment, but it can be used heavily elsewhere. Let's have a quick demo. The demo, I'm going to show you something that is available on our website, and it helps to understand what is personalization, how it works, and how you can add it in your application. It's called the Magic Movie Machine. So you start this. You will enter a name. Albert, my name. It's Christmas time. This is a cold start. He doesn't know about me, so we need to understand a little bit of who am I before he's capable of recommending anything. That's the concept of the cold start. So basically what I'm going to do here is select some movies. The person who did the demo wasn't sure exactly what movies to select, so he's moving from comedy to drama to action. Okay, let's get the fit one. Apollo. Okay, once we have the system, then we click the recommendations. The user is going to pull that data, look on the catalog of more than 63,000 movies, and all the qualifications from all the users. There's more than 25 million ratings provided by many users. And based on that rating, based on those recommendations, and based on my initial profile, the system is recommending some movies. That's the concept of personalization applied to the media and entertainment industry. Then based on this movie, you can go straight to the movie recommender and do it yourself. So you have the code and you can actually write this same Magic Movie Machine. Or you can do a training. If you don't feel so comfortable, you do the training, you learn how personalized works, and then you can go to the Magic Machine and implement it yourself as a starting point for adding personalization in your own systems. Let's have a look at some examples. Base is a company in Japan that has an e-commerce platform. They host more than 1 million online shops from different companies in Japan. And they already had a personalization system, but by using personalized, they end up 56% increase in product page reviews because of the accuracy of personalized. Another example, completely different industry, that's Bundesliga. That's the German Premier Soccer Association. It's also called the DFL. And by adding personalized to their fan application, they have a fan application and they use personalized. And with that personalization, they were capable of increasing 60% the number of articles read by a fan and 17% the time that fans were spending on the application. Moving to a different one, intelligent search. Intelligent search is powered by a service called Amazon Kendra. What is intelligent search? That's kind of the first question. Traditional search is more about typing something and then getting a list of 25 or 200 different documents that match somehow the keywords that you typed in the search box. Intelligent search is about actually understanding what you're saying, understanding what the documents are about, and then connecting and giving you an answer. A good example here is, where is the IT support desk? I don't want 300 documents that include those keywords. I want the answer. And the answer is in the first floor. And I also want questions what are related to that same question, which is, I don't know, what are the times that it's open or how to get there. So things that are related to that specific question. That's the concept of intelligent search. It can be applied in those three big areas. The first one is to create a better customer experience. For example, helping the agents. The agents are using intelligent search in order to help their customers. Or in self-service chatbots, when the user is asking questions on the chatbot, the system will use Kendra to find information on the different document. In the website search, you can also add Kendra there. The second one is traditional enterprise search, but AI-enabled, that allows intranet search using natural language, and it also has a domain-specific focused search in medical terms or legal or manufacturing space. And then finally, embedded search, being able to use that capability in your CRM or in Slack or in Salesforce or different, and we have many different connectors to different systems. It uses natural language queries, so you can type using natural language. It will understand the question and the documents and do that matching between your question and the best answer. It has domain-specific language, so capable like 14 different domains, as I was mentioning, legal, medical, and so on. It has continuous improvement, so when the user selects a document or clicks a document or says like to a document, that's informing the system and making it more accurate in these recommendations for the best document to answer that question. We have connectors, native connectors, as well as partner connectors to the main repositories platforms out there. And then finally, all the security that I was mentioning is an end-to-end encryption. A couple of examples, 3M. 3M is a materials company. They launch like 1,200 products every single year. And every time that a scientist needs to start a new research, they need to look back at previous research. That process took a lot of time, so they implemented Kendra to be able to help those researchers and find information faster. And the second one is Magellan RX Management. This is a new generation pharmacy company, and they were using Kendra to help the agents. And by doing that kind of help to those agents, they reduced the time of training those agents for 3 and 5 days. And they also reduced the call, the time that was spent in the calls by 9 to 15 seconds. That, when multiplied by 2 million calls per year, that's a lot of savings from a time perspective in those call center. Another use case, that's identity verification. Identification is using a service called Amazon Recognition to be able to validate the user identity. Why? A lot of scenarios is about fraud detection and fraud prevention, so being able to authenticate the user. 74% of the organizations are getting scams of more than $50,000, 147% increase in fraud since 2020, and then 282% growth in account takeovers. So we all know that fraud is going up, and what we want to do is try to prevent that fraud, and one of the ways is by doing this identity verification. It can be applied to different scenarios, customer onboarding and verification, that's one. Second one is online proctoring, making sure that the user is in front of the camera and there's no someone else helping that person. Gig economy, when you take a car and someone is validating the driver identity with an application, that's also one scenario, gig economy verification. Airport check-ins, and then also user challenge. When they're asking, are you a bot or are you a human, and they ask you to select some image, that's exactly the same thing, but by using visual identification. It's a combination of two services, recognition, the one that is capable of doing computer vision, and then fraud detector, Amazon Fraud Detector, which is the service that we use for account takeovers and fraud detection. Let's have a quick demo. This is a user that is gonna register to the system. So during the registration, he will take a picture, enter the login information, first name, last name, and so on, and sign up. And now we're connecting that ID with that particular picture, which means that the next time that this user will log in, he will just use that same API, validate the image, and see that he's the right user. That's the first one. The second one is when you need a legal identification. In that case, you will use an ID. So the user is the same one, but he will add his driver license or passport. We upload the passport. User register, and now we're connecting the image that the camera is seeing with that validated ID. Next time that a user logs in, he will look at the user face and match it with the corresponding ID card. Okay. Two examples. ILA Credit is a company that gives instant loans in emerging markets. They needed a solution to be able to identify the user, and they implemented recognition to validate that user identity with ID cards. The second one is Bakpan Bakau Andolan. This is a nonprofit organization in India. Every day there's 180 children that are lost in India, 180 per day. And they partnered with Capgemini to develop a solution in which parents were able to submit a picture of their kids, and then the system was doing the matching with pictures reported by the police of missing children or found children, and then do the matching between those two images. And since then, they've identified more than 63,000 images that were matched. Another use case, content moderation. Content moderation is important. Why? Because everyone creates content and submits content. 50% of people create content at least once a day. 40% of users don't want to come back to a website where they were exposed to toxic content uploaded by users. And 70% of them consider that is the responsibility of the organization that hosts that content to make sure that there is no toxic content. So 70% think that we are responsible, the ones managing that website, to make sure that there is no toxic content. Industries where content moderation can be applied, gaming is a big one, or the gaming industry, social media, e-commerce, and advertising. Those are the traditional ones, but it can be applied anywhere. It's a combination of different services, this solution. It combines recognition for all the computer vision. It combines translate to be able to also use in many different languages, transcribe to be able to listen to voice and extract that information from that voice and then be processed, and then comprehend, which is the one that is really understanding what the conversation is about, what are the key terms that we're looking for, and what are the sentiment associated to it. And then Amazon 2i or augmented AI, which is the one that we use to send to a human if for whatever reason the system is not capable of doing that content moderation. Here's a quick demo. It's an application called Media to Cloud. And basically, it will use all the different services. So you will upload a video image here, and then you'll be able, all the different services, recognition, transcribe, extract, all those different services have different settings that the user can adjust, and each organization will select what are the parameters. The system already has like 10 different content moderation categories that are already out of the box, but then you can add your own ones, and then we'll be able to process all the videos and audios and tag where that kind of content has been identified. In that case, it's more about alcohol and violence and so on, identified in a video content. Examples, Dina. Dina is in the gaming community in Japan. They developed a voice community in which people were exchanging voice message, and they wanted to make sure that there was the right identification of slang language. So they used transcribe and the ability of transcribe to own your own language, and then the system was capable of detecting and replacing any slang word included in or blocking that content in the social media platform. Flipboard is a content recommendation platform, probably familiar with it. We upload 1.2 million images every year, and the system is also capable of identifying images that do not comply with policies at Flipboard and remove those images. Or Mobi Social, which is a social and gaming platform that is using also content moderation solutions for their gaming community. Okay, so those are the 7 top use cases that we see among our customers. As I was mentioning, there's many more. How to make them real in your organization? Well, the first one is you can heavily work with AWS. You can work with AWS Professional Service, or you can use Amazon ML Solutions Lab. ML Solutions Lab is more about doing a proof of concept. If you have a crazy idea that you want someone to partner with in developing that crazy idea, ML Solutions Lab is the perfect partner for that. If you have something that is a bit more mature, ProServe is AWS ProServe Services. That's if you want to work with AWS. We have a big ecosystem of partners that are capable of doing implementations on all our AI/ML products, system integrators around the world, as well as ISVs that offer their solutions in our marketplace. So sometimes you're not interested in building, you just want to buy the solution, you can go to the marketplace. And then finally, you can decide to build it yourself. You want to build it yourself, option 1, you can build your own model and use SageMaker and SageMaker's Jumpstart, which are kind of templates to build your own ML model for content moderation or fraud detection or whatever use case you're interested in. The second one is we use the pre-trained service that I was mentioning, all those AI services that are being pre-trained, that are simple APIs. You don't need to be an ML expert. You just need to know how to add an API to your application. And on top of those AI services, we have different solutions. I'm going to talk about this later, that are already stitching together all the different pieces that you need to build that solution. And then finally, For those more business analysts, we have a product called SageMaker Canvas, which is a kind of a low-code, no-code tool that allows you to find the data, connect the data, decide what is the column that you want to predict, and then the system will create the model for you. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be an analyst and understand what is that you want to predict and where the data comes from. Everything is using the AWS stack, and I'm sure that you've seen these slides many different times. You have the 3 layers. The bottom one is the silicon, is where all the ML workloads are running, or all the training is happening, or all the inference is happening in that platform. Is more the hardware and the silicon platform, as well as all the frameworks. On top of it, we have the end-to-end SageMaker solution that is capable of ingesting the data, cleaning the data, detecting bias, building the model, doing the inference, and deploying those models. End-to-end solution. If you have data scientists, you will use probably SageMaker. And on top of it, we have the AI service, and I have a bigger version of these ones, in which you have the core one, text, translate and comprehend, speech, poly, text-to-speech, and speech-to-text, that's transcribe. And then vision, text track, the one that we're using for IDP, for extracting from documents, recognition, the overall up computer vision solution, and then panorama, that's computer vision at the edge. And then on top of those basic, we have the specialized ones. We have search, that's Kendra, conversation, Lex, to establish a chatbot, transcribe, call analytics. We're talking about this one, being able to understand the calls and extract insights from those calls, that's transcribe, call analytics. Contact lens and voice ID, which are connected to our contact center in the cloud, which is called Connect. Then we can also use AI to help software engineers. We can use AI Code Guru to help you identify security problems with your code. Or we can use Code Whisper, who's going to help you to write the code and connect to different kind of libraries and suggest what is the best code based on what you write and your previous code, as well as code that is available in your organization. And then finally, DevOps Guru. This is more about deploying and making sure that the code is going to be as much efficient as possible when deployed. And then on top of it, more business-oriented, business process, we have personalized, that's personalization, forecasting, fraud detector, fraud detection. And then in the industrial space, we have Monitron. This is kind of a solution that has sensors and a hub and is capable of doing predictive maintenance, so detecting anomalies in the sensor data and predict when a specific machine will fail, so we can replace it before it stops and it breaks. Look out for equipment, which does exactly the same thing, but it uses your own sensors. Look out for vision. This is about quality control and computer vision applied to quality control. And finally, in health, we have Health Lake. This is a healthcare information database. Comprehend Medical, same Comprehend that I was talking about, but specific for medical, and Transcribe Medical. Those are all the 23 AI services that you use and you connect together, and you can do this by your own, or you can use those solutions. And we have 12 different AI solutions in the AI/ML solutions library. You have the URL here in the bottom. And this is kind of a solution accelerator, something that already connects all those different services and that you can use as a starting point to build your own solution. We have our solutions. We also have some of them which are more guidance, liveness detection, serverless bot framework, predictive segmentation. You have different examples, and you can go and check all the ones that we have. You click, you download it to the console, or those ones are just reference architectures that you can use and follow to do your implementation. And we also have some guidance coming from partners whenever there's something that needs to be integrated with a partner solution. Finally, there's many other use cases. SageMaker Canvas is a fantastic tool when we're doing things like sales conversion, propensity to churn, lead scoring, that kind of thing that are very sales and marketing related. SageMaker Canvas is a perfect tool for that. Let me show you a little bit how it works. So basically, open SageMaker, and then you select what are the different data sources that you want to pull from that are already in S3 or Redshift or whatever database. You connect that information and establish the corresponding joins between that database. Then the system will show you, hey, this is the data that you have. This is different histogram. Are there outliers, not outliers? Do you need to clean something? So you will be able to play with that data before even starting to build your own model. Once you've done that kind of more cleaning process, then you'll go to the next one, which is the system will decide based on the column that you want to predict, based on that value that you want to predict, what is the best model. From all the different options that you have for building models, what is the best one? And it will train the system using that model. It can take 10 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours, depending on the volume of data and the complexity of those models. But it will end up presenting a model with 88.6% accuracy in that case. And it will show you a little bit how it works, what are the false positives, false negatives based on the data that you submitted. Once you feel comfortable with that level of accuracy, you can play with the information and do what-if scenarios, and you can share that information with your data scientists that using SageMaker will finish that model and move it to production. So you're allowing business analysts that are not traditionally the ones building those models, but the ones that perfectly know the information and what they want to predict to be able to build their own models and then share that with the data scientists. Completely different approach, building your model, building using Canvas, or just using APIs that are already being trained. If you want to know more about what I have talked today, all the different use cases, there's different sessions at re:Invent, so that's a good thing that it's Monday. We have the whole week in front of us. So the first one are the keynotes. We have Swami keynote on Wednesday about data, analytics, and ML. We have Bratin leadership session also on Wednesday, and this is pure about AI/ML and just AI/ML and all the different launches that we have during this week. If you want to know more about intelligent document processing, we have 5 different sessions, some of them with customers like PennyMac in the mortgage document processing, or Black Knight that I was talking before, or in the healthcare industry. You also have multiple sessions. You can just take a screenshot or check in your application the one you're interested in. Contact center intelligence, different sessions about extracting information from your calls and implementing chatbots. The WAFD Bank, I was with that customer this morning. They implemented a fantastic chatbot to connect with their contact center. Intelligent search, Kendra, and how intelligent search can be applied in your organization and in how some customers are using it internally. And then also some sessions about personalization in different industries. And then finally, content moderation, a couple of sessions about content moderation, 300 level. AI for coding, if you're interested in Code Whisperer and DevOps Guru, those are the sessions that will go deeper in those technologies. And finally, we also have a session that is in the demo theater. Call to action for you, if you're interested in knowing more about the use cases that are more relevant to your industry, this is the AI Explorer, super easy to use tool that will allow you to navigate through all the content that we have on the website. We know that sometimes it's not easy. Well, this tool is basically for that, to simplify and go straight and also suggest and also share customer stories. I think that the fantastic of this tool is what are the case studies that are presented. And that's it. Thank you very much. If you like that presentation, please submit your vote and I'll be back next year. And thank you very much for coming to this session. Thank you.